So I thank you everybody for coming here. I've come from India. I live in Delhi, so I'm here from Delhi, and I travel the world. To it's the order of my spiritual master that I should travel and preach. So I travel around the world in half. I visit half the world every year almost. So to coming to Australia is after a long time. I'm coming here after 12 years. I I used to come here earlier every year. From 2007, I started traveling as an international preacher. So the first place was Australia, Sydney only, Sydney and Melbourne. And then I started coming every year here. And then from 2012, that was my last trip here. Then I started the other side of the globe, that was Canada. So I was going to Canada and traveling to Europe and Canada and then going to Japan and all that. So after so many years, I just there's something that's hurting the throat. Yeah, it's something that's. Mhm. So yeah, just let the fresh air might come in. वो शायद कोई अगरबत्ती या something is being burned. That incense is actually hurting. That incense is, yeah, just pull that out because it's all chemicals, That's why that. So I'm very fortunate again to be back here, to be invited again. And Canberra is preaching is first time. I visited Canberra as a tourist. When I came to Sydney for lectures, they brought me to visit just Canberra for a day trip. So this first time I've come for the. At that time there were no devotees even here. So now we have a good congregation and a temple. That's all Krishna's mercy upon the Canberra people. So you're very fortunate that you have come under the umbrella of Srila Prabhupada. The shelter of Prabhupada is actually the most blissful. It is that it gives solace from all the pain, all the suffering of the world. Agar we are with Prabhupada, everything falls in perfect place, So I was today talking at the university. I was at the Australian National University, and there were few students. They were from China and they were from Australia itself, and they were from Sydney and Hobart, and they were talking about. I just asked them a simple question: do you know who you are? They had no answer. I said, okay, you tell me what's your name. And then they said, oh, my name is this and I live in such a place. So I said, you are not aware even who you are. So we identify ourselves with our names, material names, which our parents gave us. We have no other identification. We don't know who we are. But Srila Prabhupada made us know that who exactly we are. So if we ask anybody who goes to ISKCON temple regularly, if you ask this question to him, it's a very simple question for him. And he or she answers very nicely that I'm a soul. And because who told them? That's Srila Prabhupada, who made us aware that we are souls, we are not bodies. Krishna told that to Arjuna in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. He narrates to Arjuna everything about it. So Arjuna is actually bewildered. In the first chapter we see he's totally bewildered. So before we start the session, let's do the Mangalacharan first. Let's remember our spiritual master so that we get the energy to speak. It's all the blessings of the spiritual master. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guravai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapat Kamlam Shri Gurana Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sakjitam Sahagan Raganatvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarabhutam Parijana Sahitam Devam. Sorry. Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Satadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpataru Bhaksha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is actually in the first chapter, it's all about the observing the armies. And Krishna makes Arjuna bewildered. Arjuna gets bewildered. He doesn't want to fight among his own kinsmen, his own family. He refuses to fight rather. And he's crying. And he cries and he denies to fight now. So Arjuna actually is bewildered. So it's all the Leela of Krishna. It's pastime. Krishna is performing a pastime. He's called Leela Purushottam. So he is just making this for us to know that in Kali Yuga we all be actually in a situation like the Kurukshetra. We all will have our own Kurukshetras. We all will be actually bewildered at one point or the other. All the time we will remain bewildered, and Maya is going to bewilder us all the time. So Maya is Krishna's illusory energy. It's Krishna's energy. So it bewilders us. We don't understand how to react sometimes. So what reaction we should give and how should we act. So all the reactions are actually actions. There's a chain of action and reaction. Bhagavad Gita talks about actions and reactions. That's all. Bhagavad Gita is nothing else. It's just action and reaction. How we should act and what reaction we should give. It's all our past karmas that come before us. And now how we react to them, it's up to us. And our reaction is again going to become an action. So what kind of action we perform, that's what Krishna is actually, he's telling this to Arjuna. So the Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, when the second chapter comes, that is the beginning when Arjuna is bewildered and now Krishna, he actually surrenders to Krishna at that time. He says, I am very bewildered. He says, Shadimam Tvam Prapannam, I become your disciple. Shishastayam Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. I become your disciple. We should remember, he doesn't say, you become my guru. He says, I become your disciple. So when actually we enter spiritual life, we become a disciple. We become a disciple means we surrender. It's our role has to be played now. Guru is Guru, the spiritual master is spiritual master. So we surrender to the spiritual master. That is, how do we surrender? What reaction we going to give now? So when Arjuna says, he professes that I am your disciple now, then actually Krishna starts giving the Bhagavad Gita. He starts speaking the Bhagavad Gita. That's the sermon he gives. So that sermon actually is for all of us. That how we should lead a life. What should we do here? We are in this material world. How are we going to live? What we are going to do? And how we will surrender. So Arjun surrenders to Krishna. He actually says, whatever you will say, I will take it now. Because I am tired now. I don't understand. I am bewildered. I am totally confused. So in Kali Yuga, we all are in such a boat. We are actually sailing in the same boat as Arjun was sailing. So we all know that we don't have answers to our questions. We don't have how do we react. We don't know how should we act in this world. And we are confused. There's chaos everywhere in the world. Wherever I travel to so many places, be it Tokyo, be it America, Canada, everywhere. One single question when I ask, what are you searching in this world? So everybody says, I hope the same answer will come from here. What are we looking for in this world? What do you want in this world? What do you would say?
Happiness.
Peace and happiness. Everybody has this answer. So Krishna knew this would be the query of the world. And he gave a perfect answer to Arjuna. He said, Nastir buddhi yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavna nacha vita shantira shantasa kata sukham. He said, Naasti buddhi. If your intelligence, buddhi means intelligence, na means no. If your intelligence is not connected to me, you will never be at peace and never you will find happiness. Without peace, there is no happiness. Shantasa kata sukham. Without shanti, there is no happiness. So how do we get the happiness? That is actually when we surrender to Krishna. That is how the happiness will come. Surrender means you give your intelligence to Krishna. So what does that mean, giving your intelligence to Krishna? Giving your intelligence to Krishna means that you work according to the what Krishna says. Our lifestyle should be according to that. So Bhagavad Gita is all about action. It's all about your reaction. It's all about the way of life, how you live. So that's very important for us. It's actually science. We say, oh, this is not science, science is something else. This is science. This is actually science. That science means practical. And Bhagavad Gita is the practical application. It's not theoretical application. So, oh, they all sneeze now. Very good. Pin drop silence and sit down. Right in the front. Disperse them. Don't make them sit together. So settle down quickly. I think so I should start this again. Very good. There's some issue coming up here. No, we'll cancel. So this is Bhagavad Gita. It's actually practical. We should be applying it to our lives. It's just not about hearing it. Hearing and applying. These are the two things Krishna says. So Arjuna is very determined now. Whatever he says, that's why he says, I become your disciple. So disciple means to be in discipline. And in discipline means a disciple. If you agree that I will remain in discipline, then that is a disciple. You're not a disciple until you take the discipline on yourself. So we actually accept the order of being in discipline, and that is surrender. That we will agree. We agree to whatever you say, and we live a life according to what you give us, what you are telling us. In order to search the real happiness, you want real peace and real happiness, then one has to go ahead with this. So that's how Arjuna gets all the information from Krishna himself. He tells Arjuna, I am the supreme. I am actually Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Pravartati. He says, I am the supreme, I am the giver, cause of everything. Everything is coming from me. So whatever you see in this material world is coming from me. And those who understand this, they are the most intelligent people. So as you can see, I've got so many books lying here in front of me. I'm actually an author of all these books. And I'm from a Sikh background. I'm a Sikh myself. Turban Sikhs, you must have seen the Sardars. I'm a Sardani myself. So I had read the Granth Sahib, the holy book, and I had access to the Gita and the Bhagavatam when I became an ISKCON devotee. So my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, encouraged me. He ordered me to write books. He said, I want you to write books. So I wrote the Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism. That was the first book I wrote. That was written in 2007. When I went back from Sydney, actually, that happened. It was the month of June. May I came to Sydney in 2007 and I went back. And in June, my Guru Maharaj was always telling me prior to that also that you should write. And coming to Sydney also was that because he had ordered me in 2003, he had said that I should travel and preach. So I wanted to fulfill the desires. Like I said, no, you want to be a disciple. So disciple means who follows the instructions of the spiritual master. So I wanted to be one of that kind, that I would follow whatever he says. So he said that, he told me that I should write books, but I could not dare write because I did not think myself to be so qualified to write a book. Because my background is I'm a fashion designer by profession. And I was not a scholar in school. I was just a good student in school. And I was very shy to go on. Public speaking was not my area, not at all. I was never on the stage. I had a stage fright. I was a very nervous kind of a child in the school, a student who would not speak much in the school and remain just an average good student. So, but then when Guru Maharaj saw me, whenever I would listen to him speaking on the Gita, it was just by I don't know how it was that I would think of a similar kind of a verse in the Granth Sahib, and then I would just say that out. And he knew it. He himself was a Punjabi. Gopal Krishna Maharaj was Punjabi, and he could understand Punjabi. And he could understand what I was speaking. He had in his lifetime gone to Gurdwaras lots of time. So his parents and all, they believed. His grandmother, Guru Maharaj told me, his parents, his grandmother, grandfather from the maternal side, they were all going to Gurdwaras. So he knew very well what I was speaking. So he would understand that, and he asked me to put all this, what I was speaking, in a book. He said, pen that down, write a book. And I thought I was not a scholar. I would never say yes to him, but neither said no to him, because I just remained quiet. But then when I came to Sydney in May 2007, I went back. So it was the month of June, and we had a meeting in Vrindavan. There was some official meeting. My Prabhu makes all the temples, You see in the Delhi, the most recent temples that came up in the last 7-8 years that have been made by my husband. All the interiors and exteriors is his design. The latest is the Rohini temple. He made the Gurugram temple, the first one, and the second one still he's making. That would soon open up. And then he made the Bahadurgarh. Then he made Faridabad, all in Delhi NCR. So in Delhi NCR we have 18 temples, of which the 6 or 7 they are made by him. So we have been giving honorary service to ISKCON for the last 25 years. We've been serving Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So my Prabhu Guru Maharaj invited us to have some meeting in Vrindavan. And it was in the rooms of Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, who was Devamrit Prabhu at that time. He was the president there. So we had a meeting in his office. And when we reached, Guru Maharaj was there in the office. Me and my Prabhu, we reached, and there were many other people there. And Devamrit Prabhu was there. So Guru Maharaj introduced me to Devamrit Prabhu. He said, you know Radhika Krpa? And he just nodded his head. And Guru Maharaj very proudly tells him, she has written a book on Sikhism and Vaishnavism. I had never written a word even. And Guru Maharaj said, she's written a book. And I could not say, no, I haven't written. And Devamrit Prabhu, he looked at me, he smiled, and I also acknowledged yes. And then we came back home. It was month of June. And August is Guru Maharaj Vyasa Puja. His birthday comes in August. And it was sometimes in September, some Hindu calendar according to that. So it was in August that year. And we came back, and then I promised to myself that my Guru Maharaj had so much faith in me, and he's telling others that she's written the book, and whereas I have not written a single word as yet. So I should seriously sit down and write now. And there was no Google at that time, so I could research and do it very fast, just cut, copy, paste and do my work. I could not do that. I had to sit every day for 10 to 12 hours. I used to sit with all the scriptures around me, and I started penning down the book on my computers. And by August, within 1.5 months, I completed the book, got it printed, and gifted it to my Guru Maharaj. It was in the month of August. Just in 1.5 months, I wrote a book with consulting all the scriptures, the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Granth Sahib, all around me, and penning down this book. So this book I gifted to Guru Maharaj. You can see on my Instagram there is a video of 2007 when I am offering this book to my spiritual master, and he's so happy to get it in his hand. And he was so happy that when he received this book, right after 1 month when this book was printed and gifted to Guru Maharaj, right after 1 month there were meetings for GBC and some RGB meetings. Some meetings were there where all the senior ISKCON leaders were there. And my Guru Maharaj told Jayapataka Maharaj that she has written a book. Jayapataka Maharaj is very merciful. He knew me very well. So my Guru Maharaj told him that she has written a book, and in the middle of night, by 11 o'clock in the night, I get a phone call where Jayapataka Maharaj said, I heard you have written a book on Sikhism and Vaishnavism. How many copies can you give me? And I said, as many as you want, Maharaj. So I gave him lots of copies, and he carried them all over the world. He carried them to Hong Kong, he carried them to London. He was the first book distributor for my book. So that is how the story of this book came up, like Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism. So this is how I got the the faith in my spiritual master, that he had faith in me, and that's why I could write it. It's not me who has written this book. No, not a person can write this book. Because till the last minute, I have no index in this book. But at the last minute, I was writing the headings. Printer was asking me, just give your book for printing, otherwise we will not be able to print it out and give it to you within 2 days. You have to give it to us. And I just was finishing with my titles, and there are some verses which were actually put in the last minute. They were so important that I had not come across. But when I was going for printing, I just opened up the Granth Sahib, and there the verses. That verse is very important. It had to be in the book. So I had to put it there immediately. And had a similar kind of a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita coming into the book. So there is a verse that is so similar. You would, I will just look for it. It's, as I said, there is no index in it. So I have to sometimes look for what I have written here to find it out. So the verse I will just let you know. It's a beautiful verse. Had it not been there, the meaning would not have been the same what the book says. So it says, Krishna is like Krishna tells Arjuna, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the source of everything. So here in the Granth Sahib it comes, in Shloka Sahaskriti Mahila Pahla, that means Guru Nanak Dev Ji speaking. He says, because there are the gurus, different gurus speak about it, we have 10 C gurus. They come through the lineage. So it says here, I've given the page number as well. It says, Eka Krishna Sarvadeva Dev. Sarvadeva Dev Devatma, Atam Atma, Atam Shri Vasava Devasya Jeko Janas Pev. So Nanak Tako Das hai Soi Niranjana Dev. So he says here, there is one Krishna. So Eka Krishna Sarvadeva Dev Dev. He says he is the divinity of the soul. He is Krishna. And he is the Paramatma. Atam Shri Vasavadeva se Jeko Janasa Pev. And he is the divinity of all divinities. He is the divinity of the soul. He is the Paramatma. If anyone knows the mystery of the soul and the Lord, Nanak is the servant to that controller. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj says in Adi Leela, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Aur Sarva Bhritya. Yare Yache Nache Se Tache Kare Nritya. He says, Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them to do so. So, Eka Krishna or Sarvadeva Devatma. So similarities are there. So there are many, many things I have quoted here in my book, which you can find. So in all these books, there are at different stages from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Granth Sahib, the verses were quoted. I have been quoted here. So that is how my Guru Maharaj encouraged me to write, and one cannot write without the mercy. Today in the morning Bhagavatam class it was, one cannot go back to the Supreme Lord until one worships, until one serves the lotus feet of a great Acharya, a great devotee of the Lord. So a great devotee of the Lord who is fully surrendered, if we serve them, naturally we get the potency, they transfer, they shower their mercy, and the same potency they give us. So that's how my Guru Maharaj encouraged me. Whatever he asked me to, I don't know, somehow I'm able to accomplish those tasks, because he always, whatever he ordered, my only wish was that we should serve him. Me and my husband, both of us. We both of us have same views, same everything. We have the same kind of respect, awe and reverence for our spiritual master, the same kind of like we want to serve him fully dedicatedly. That's how we both are. So that's, Guru Maharaj was very happy when we were initiated together. He said, like, I'm very happy that both of you are getting initiated together. And it was his mercy. It was in the year 2001 it happened. So in Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, we read about how Krishna says about the Yam Yam Vapi Smarnam, if you are aware of that shloka. How many of you are aware of that verse? Yam Yam Vapi Smarnam. 3, 4, 5. So that's, Krishna says in that we all want to, who all want to go back to Godhead? हम में से कितने लोग हैं जो वापस भगवत धाम जाना चाहते हैं? We all want to, who all want to go back to Krishna? That's it. All of us want to go. So how do we go? Krishna gives. He says, at the time of death, if you remember me, you will come back to me. You say it's so simple. Just at the time of death, we have to remember him. So why are we chanting right now? Why are we doing 16 rounds every day? Why we are actually working so hard to go back to Godhead? So because Krishna is so clever. He is the cleverest of the cleverest. He says, if you want to come back to me, you just have to chant at the time of death. So at the time of death, nobody knows when it will come. So what Krishna means by that? That any moment we can die. So every moment we should be remembering him. So he means that all your life, throughout your life, you should remember me. He means that. So that's how in the Granth Sahib even the same philosophy is there. It's there that whatever consciousness you have at the time of death, you're going to attain that body after you leave this body. You're going to go into that body. That body is awaiting you. In whatever state of consciousness you leave this body, the next body is ready for you. It says in the Granth Sahib, right? Govind Nam. So never leave that if you die and your consciousness when you're at the time of death is in Lakshmi, that's you were actually thinking of money. You're obsessed with money. You just want to earn more. You want everything like whatever is connected with money, That is you want more. And what happens is you're obsessed. And that obsession actually it goes deep into your heart right there. And then if you die at that moment when you are remembering that you wanted to earn more or you were always indulged in more and more Lakshmi. And then what happens is just hurry up and do it. Everybody is actually gets disturbed, sorry. Hurry on. Thank you. So it says here, if you die thinking of money and that you want more and more, then what is going to happen? If you die, the next body is of a snake is ready for you. Why a snake? Who can tell? Why a snake? Because usually snakes, where we have heard in the stories, where do they live? Where there is treasures. So Krishna is very merciful. He says, you were looking for money, now I give you a lot of money. Enjoy the money. he puts us there. That's why he's called Dina Dayal. He's so merciful. Whatever you wish, you desire, he fulfills it. He says, I'll fulfill, that's a promise. So then it says here, Antakal jo simre santan sut aisi chinta mein jo mare sukar yoni valva lautre. Those who are actually, they have so much attachment to their children. They're always worried about their children. If they have daughters, they are worried they want to have a son. If they have son, they are worried what he's doing, how if I go, what will happen to him, this. And you are obsessed with it. Krishna is so merciful. He says, I'll give you the body of a pig. Sukar yoni. Because why a sewer? Why a pig? You know all that. Why? Why a pig? He's got a trail of children. He says, you are worried for 1 or 2 children, I give you 10 or 12 children now. You enjoy with your children. Antakal simre, there is a lot more coming up. Antakal simre ghar mandir, aisi chinta mein jo mare. So it says, at the end of your life, if you are actually, all your life you were remembering, you are worried about having a big house, a small house, or 1 or 2 houses, 3 houses. I should have a bigger house, I should have a farmhouse. If you have 1 house, another farmhouse, and what all. And even if you have a small house, you are obsessed with a house all the time and you did not remember Krishna. The main focus is you did not remember Krishna. If you have a small or big house, it doesn't matter. It should be offered to Krishna, that's all. So if you had a big or a small house, but you were only actually caring about, I have this kind of house, that house, I wanted a bigger house. You are so obsessed with the house. So Krishna says, Antakal jo simre ghar mandir aisi chinta mein jo mare pret yoni valva lautre. He gives you the yoni of a pret. Why a pret? We have heard about haunted houses. He says you wanted bricks, you wanted a house made of bricks. So stay in the brick house now until you get liberated. You stay there now. You enjoy the bricks. You wanted a house, I've given you house to yourself now. So this is how, and Antakal jo simre, it says Antakal jo simre Narayan aisi chinta mein jo mare pitambar take hriday base. So those who, Bharat Trilochan, that's a Vani from a great saint of Maharashtra. It is it's his Vani, his talks that has his verses that have been actually put into the Granth Sahib. So it says, if you die thinking of Narayan, thinking of Krishna, and you leave your body, Krishna will send his dutas to take you. You will go back to Godhead. That's guaranteed. So that is how it is so similar than what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that has been actually written again by the Sikh Gurus after like so many years. Just 500 years back it came up, the Granth Sahib came up. So it is for us to understand that there is so much of similarities, there is so much for us. Why it is so? Because our faith should become strong. It's all because of faith. Rupa Goswami says, Ado Shraddha, Tado Sadhusam, Tada Bhajana Kriya. So Shraddha, faith plays a great role. I had my faith in my Guru Maharaj, that's why it became strong. The more I wrote from the Granth Sahib, more my faith became strong and my spiritual master. It says in the Granth Sahib, Guru Sevete Thakur Jani. Those who have served the spiritual master will only understand the Thakur. If you want to understand Krishna, you have to serve your spiritual master. We sing Guru Vashtakam every day in the morning. It's the glorification of the Guru. It's the glorification of the Guru. Why? Because he is the confidential servant of Krishna. He is serving Krishna. He is receiving the mercy from the ocean of mercy. That's why he is actually giving it to us. So this is how it is. The Krishna is actually, he is the ocean of mercy. He is giving us the mercy, showering us with mercy. But it comes through the spiritual master. It cannot come directly. It has to be, it received through the spiritual master. You will get it only, Guru Sevete Thakur Jane. And Darshan Parsiya Guru ke Janam Maran Dukh Jaye. Those who have actually, Darshan means seeing. Seeing means you are following the instructions of the spiritual master. That's real seeing. Hearing is actually the real seeing we know. So if you actually take the instructions of the spiritual master, Janam Maran is a dukh. We know from the Gita. Krishna says clearly, birth, death, old age, disease. These are the 4 kinds of sufferings in this world. And it says those who take the darshan of their Guru, those who take the instructions of the Guru, then what happens? This suffering will actually, they will be out of this suffering. They will go out of the cycle of birth and death. So my faith became strong, more stronger day by day because my Guru Maharaj actually ordered me to write books. And whenever I came up with a book on his Vyas Puja, he would have a beautiful smile on his face. He accepted my gift and he would smile. Last year also, I gifted him, I wrote a book because everybody was asking me that I should go ahead and write a book. I've got so many memories with my spiritual father. Me and my husband, we have traveled with him a lot. We have taken his association a lot. So everybody who was around, I would talk about Guru Maharaj. So they would ask me, that you please pen it down. We want to read your experiences, your faith with your spiritual father. We want to know more about it. So then I asked my Guru Maharaj. I said, everybody wants it. And they were sitting there, those brahmacharis that was asking me. I said, these boys, they want that I should write down. And then Guru Maharaj just smiled. And then I penned it down and I gifted this book with spiritual Guru, the spiritual father. What's that? So I wrote another book along with it. This was the book I wrote, Guru, the spiritual father. So these 2 books I gifted to Guru Maharaj on his last Vyasa Puja. That was the 2023 Vyasa Puja when he was there with us physically. And there is this picture is epic where he's holding this book in his hand and he's smiling. And this actually, in this book it comes that why Diksha is important. It's mentioned in the Granth Sahib even. Bin Diksha kaisa gyan. Without Diksha, knowledge will not come to you. Without Guru, the knowledge does not stay with you. We may think, oh, I can read myself. I know, I am educated. I can read English, I can read Hindi. I can understand. But without Guru, this knowledge you cannot sustain this knowledge. Your faith will keep on dwindling. So the faith becomes strong when we actually are under the shelter of a spiritual master. And this March, Guru Maharaj passed away in May. In March we were again, as I said, I lived in Delhi and I wanted to be always there when Guru Maharaj was in Delhi. I wanted to be around there. Me and my Prabhuji would often go to meet Guru Maharaj. It was like almost if he's there in a week, at least twice, thrice, I would go and meet him. He wanted that. Once I was, I didn't. He had come out of hospital last year. It was. He had gone for an angioplasty, and he had come out of the hospital, and he was at the temple, so we went to see him. He had just given a call to us, and then I went to see him. And when we were actually meeting him, there was our godbrother. He's a doctor. He is Guru Maharaj doctor. So Prabhu was there, Dwarkadish Prabhu. He was there. He had come to see Guru Maharaj because he had come from the hospital. And he saw us sitting there and he said, it's time for Guru Maharaj to take rest. You should all not be here. And he literally scolded us for being there and not taking care of him. But yes, we said, you're right, absolutely. Guru Maharaj would want us to be there, but we should not be disturbing him. So we left. And for 3 weeks, I did not go to see him. I wanted him to fully recuperate from he had come. So Guru Maharaj asked his servant to call us up. And he called up, I picked up the call and he said, Guru Maharaj wants to see you. So you both of you come. So I said, yes, tomorrow we will come to see Guru Maharaj. So as I entered his room, I remember both of us were entering his room and he said, Radhika Krpa, it's been 4 weeks I haven't seen you. I said, Guru Maharaj, it's been 3 weeks, not 4 weeks. He said, it's okay. But it's been... And then I realized how spiritual master actually, and everybody in the temple, they have a unique relationship. Everybody, if you meet them, they say, Guru Maharaj is so personal with me, so personal with me. Everybody says the same. Why? Because a spiritual father is like Krishna, who can give love to so many people together. That's how it is. And whenever we used to talk to him, he knew everybody whom he had met even once. He knew them so well. And he would tell them, I have met you here, there, and they would say yes. They may not remember, but Guru Maharaj remembered everything. I personally know there was a person, he told me that Guru Maharaj once had attended a wedding of his sister, a family wedding in Bombay, their family wedding that had happened in some Bollywood star. So Guru Maharaj, that happened in the Jew temple, in the Govindas, the party was there in the hall, the wedding happened. And Guru Maharaj and other senior leaders were invited there. So Guru Maharaj attended that wedding. And that person said, Maharaj, you had come to the wedding and I met you there. And now he was meeting him after the COVID. That is, after COVID he came to see Guru Maharaj. And he met Guru Maharaj. And as I preached online, he got connected to me and he came with me to see Guru Maharaj. My whole group came to see Guru Maharaj. So that person also said to Guru Maharaj, he wanted to just say that I have met you once, I met you in that wedding that happened there in Jew. And Guru Maharaj said what year it was. And he just fumbling with the years, he was recollecting. While he was recollecting, Guru Maharaj said it was 2014. It was his family wedding. Guru Maharaj said, I remember it was 2014, I came to that wedding. So it is how a spiritual father is. These are very small things, these are irrelevant things. But a guru is actually, I'm just trying to convey the message that he is no less than Krishna himself. He can take us back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada promised that. And yes, that is a great promise by a great man. And he knows how to keep his promise. So that is, we are not at loss if we chant 16 rounds. We keep Krishna in our consciousness all the time, every day. Every day we are struggling to finish our 16 rounds. And that is how we are Krishna conscious the whole day. And when we remain Krishna conscious whole day, then definitely yam yam vapi smaranam will be good for us. We'll remember Krishna at the time of death. So don't be scared with all those what I said, that we should not be remembering our children. But if really you want to take care of your children the best, if you want to take care of your house the best, you should actually get connected to Krishna. So when we get connected to Krishna and serve the spiritual master, through spiritual master we are serving Krishna, then what happens? Krishna takes care of your family, he takes care of your home, he takes care of everything you have. So why not let him take care of everything? You do your duty, but don't get entangled in your duty. Entanglement should be with Krishna. It says the love affair should be with Krishna. Because it's been given in the scriptures that a woman or a man, they are all the same. For Krishna is he is the only man. Others all are female. In the Gurbani even it says that Krishna is the only man. Rest all are females. Sabne Saure Vanjana. It's written there. Saure Vanjana means all have to go to their sasural and their in-laws' place. Then in-laws are who? Krishna's home. That is our in-laws' place. He is our husband, and that's their in-laws are there. We all are the brides of Krishna. And then what happens is that why we are here? Because we misbehave there. Like you misbehave with your mother-in-laws, then you are sent away. So we all were sent away here. That says, so we are in the Reformation Center here. So we all have to improve ourselves, become good, good daughter-in-laws, and then go back. That's for all of us, whether we are a man or a woman. So it doesn't matter. So Sabne Sore Vanjana. So everybody, even Gunadiji says, I have to go back. We have to go back. We have been ordained to go back, but we have to improve first. And that's why we have such spiritual masters. They are the mentors. They are the guides who are gonna reform us. What mistakes we committed there, they are actually making us realize those mistakes, that we should improvise on them. And then only Krishna will accept us. So that is how we should be. We should actually surrender to Krishna through the spiritual master. That's the only way. So that's why Srila Prabhupada went to America, and that's why he appointed so many of his sincere disciples who became the gurus for us, and they have guided us. Now we have the grand disciples coming up. So it's all Guru Maharaj, all Srila Prabhupada's mercy, all the mercy of sincere devotees of ISKCON, those who actually, their blessings are with us, their mercy is with us. So anybody has any question? I think so. We should go for question answers. Nobody wants to ask anything. Everybody knows. So when I was writing, I was... Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita that a Mahatma can't be just manufactured by rubber stamping. So sometimes as conditioned souls we have that tendency to just rubber stamp everything that we do as spiritual. So what is the way for a living entity to actually understand that he's on a spiritual path? Because he may be thinking, I am on it, but he is still in so much illusion. So what are the safeguards to understand that one is on the right path?
Yeah, because Maya is going to attack us all the time. We think, oh, I am a devotee, but that may be an illusion even. That can be, I think so. You want to say that only. So, but how we can really know that I am a devotee? So that is how you know your temperature as a devotee. Like when we have fever, we put up the thermometer to know what temperature we have, how much fever we have. So how much spiritual Krishna consciousness we have in us. How do we know that? Because we think, oh, whatever I'm doing the best, best of my ability. But there is lot more to do. So we have to constantly advance for more and more and more. We can never be perfect in Krishna consciousness. We have to strive to become more perfect, more perfect, more perfect, more. It's till your last breath. That is Krishna consciousness. Till your last breath, we have to keep on endeavoring, keep on following, keep on doing what the instructions we get from our spiritual master. So whatever the instructions that have been left, if our spiritual master is no more, the instructions are actually now the spiritual master for us, his instructions. So that we have to follow. We can never say, I'm completely Krishna conscious. Now there is no danger. Danger is at every step. At every step there is danger. So one can never say, I'm fully Krishna conscious. I have become now, I know everything, so I'm totally liberated. Yes, you can be liberated from the material desires, but the Maya is always bewildering. It will not leave you until you remain till your last breath under the shelter of Krishna. So that is why the association of devotees is a must. There is the association of devotees where we know that we may have more advanced devotees when we see at them. Then we see, oh, we have nothing. We haven't gained anything. We are still so neophyte, so naive. So then there is the place where you understand, provided you want to understand. If you don't want to understand, then nobody can help you. But in the association of devotees is the place where you can know how advanced you are and how less advanced you are. That is the place. So one should never leave the association of devotees. That is why Ramananda Rai, when he was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that what is the worst thing for a devotee, worst thing in his life is getting away from the association of devotees. That is the worst thing in life. So one should never go out of the association of devotees. Even the Granth Sahib says the same. Bina paga satsang na labije, bina satsang maya labarije jiyo. Without being fortunate, one cannot enter the association of devotees. One is very fortunate if he gets access to the association of devotees. If you are extremely fortunate, then only you can sit in the association of devotees. In the house programs, when I tell, in the home programs, many are invited, but only few reach out. Why? Because they are not fortunate yet. They haven't received the mercy as yet. They cannot enter. Because Kali Yuga is just outside the door. It's waiting outside the door. Once we step outside the door, Kali Yuga is going to pounce on us. You may forget everything, your homes and everything when you're sitting here. Moment you step out, you will remember everything that you have to do at home now. And then what happens is, you will forget what you had heard here. Maybe just one line, one word, that you will carry home. And within few days you will forget that also. So because Kali Yuga is there, it's waiting for you. Until you carry Krishna with you, Kali Yuga will not go away. Kali Yuga is there. You see, there is a beautiful story of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga actually, how many of you get up in Brahmurata? Brahmurata means early in the morning, by 4 o'clock. How many of you get up? Just 1, 2, 3. Half hands are raised. Slowly. You know, when I became a devotee 25 years ago, my Guru Maharaj said, Radhika Krpa, you have to, there is Mangal Aarti every day you have to attend. There is no option for Mangal Aarti. He said there is no option for Mangal Aarti. If you say that today no Mangal Aarti, so I can chant few rounds more. No, that cannot happen. Mangal Aarti has no option. Mangal Aarti is Mangal Aarti. Brahmurata is Brahmurata. And that's what the Granth Sahib says. My mother used to get up every day at 3:30 in the morning, and we used to make fun of her. And we used to say, why do you get up so early and you make us get up? By 6 o'clock she used to make us get up. Whether it was Sunday or summer vacation or anything. She wanted us to be up by 6, leave the bed. Nobody should be in the bed by 6. And we would plead with her, like our friends and all, they sleep till 10 o'clock. And I've never slept like that. Because I understood, when I became a devotee, then I understood why it is so. So then Guru Maharaj told me the same instructions. And I had small kids at that time. But then I understood what he wanted. And I never missed my Mangal Aarti in the temple. I would go every day in the morning, whether it be fog there, maybe rain, thunderstorm, whatever. I would drive down for Mangal Aarti. And sometimes I would drive down to the big temple that was 1 hour away from our home. And in India, it's not safe. Early in the morning also, you have so many trucks on the road. And then Guru Maharaj would ask me sometime, don't you feel scared when you come? Because my husband would not go that far early in the morning, because he said he had to go to work for business and all. So he said, I won't get up like 3:30, leave home and go to the temple there. But I wanted to be. When Guru Maharaj would be performing Aarti, I wanted to be there. So I would drive, and then Guru Maharaj would say, don't you feel scared early in the morning when you come all alone from Punjabi Bar? I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I just lock all the doors, see they are all locked, and I keep on doing Narsingh Aarti till I reach the temple. And then he just smiled away. So you see, that is Mangal Aarti has no option. And this story, when I came to know about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, about the Brahma Muhurta, then I was really, it was so impressive to know this, that we are doing so much right. What my spiritual master instructed me, that's absolutely correct, you know. And it says, that story goes on, that once Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he was sitting there and Kali Yuga appeared before him. Kali Yuga appears, as we know from the Bhagavatam even, he wears a black cloak. He appeared with a black cloak, all black dress he's wearing. He appeared. And on his black cloak there were small patches of cloth. Different patches. It has been as if it had been torn and been sewn again. So there were at different places different color patches. So when he appeared, he tells, there is Mardana, that is a disciple of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, a Muslim disciple who is always with him. So he tells Mardana that why does your Guru gets up early in the morning at 3:30 and he actually sings the glories of Vishnu, sings the glories of the Supreme Lord. Why does he do so? I will give him a palace of gold. I will give him a throne of gold. He can stay at one place. Why does he have to travel and talk the glories of the Supreme Lord? Why does he do so? He can remain at one place. I give him the palace of gold. And Mardana starts laughing and he says, points out to his own cloak. He says, look at the black cloak you're wearing. It's torn from so many places and you've sewn it. You cannot have a single piece, a good piece for yourself. What will you give to my Guru? And then the Kali Yuga speaks. The Kali Yuga says, you see, when it's 3:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, what I do is I spread my cloak all over the universe, that nobody should get up and sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because that is the time, 3 o'clock, when you want to sleep very nicely. You feel very comfortable in your sleep. That is the deep sleep. But you can be awake till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But as it is getting the early morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you feel sleepy. You don't want to get up. If the alarm buzzes out, you want to switch it off. Then he says, Kali Yuga says, I spread the cloak all over the universe that nobody should get up. But the people like your Guru, they get up and they pierce the cloak and they come out of the cloak. And they make holes in my cloak. So this is how the Brahma Muhurta is. When we get up in the Brahma Muhurta, we actually pierce the Kali Yuga's, the cloth he has spread on us that we should not get up. We make holes out of it and come out of it. That is the power of the spiritual master. That he actually trains you to how to understand this. So that is how Kali Yuga said, that is why I have to sew my new dress every day, because I get so many holes because of people like your Guru who pierce my cloak. So there are not many. There are very few out of crores and crores of human beings who get up early in the morning at 3 o'clock. But Prabhupada made it so easy for us that all over the world when I travel, whether I go to London and there I attend Mangalarti with devotees, the temple is crowded. In Delhi, temples are crowded. We have 18 temples in Delhi and they get crowded in the morning for Mangalartis. There are people for Mangalarti in all the temples. I start my chanting session in the COVID times. I could not go to the temple. So then I thought of why everybody is so much in pain right now in COVID times. Those who don't know Prabhupada, they are suffering right now. And people were talking of suicides, people were talking of, like, we were seeing ourselves what was happening. Children were losing parents. I know a family where both the parents went away, only the children were left. I know a family where the dead bodies were in the house and only one son was left. Whole family here was wiped out. So everybody was in pain. So I thought, like, Prabhupada has trained us for this moment. This is the best moment we should. It was not in my mind that I want a lot of followers or I want a lot of people to follow me. But it was just I wanted to give them some relief from their suffering. And I started the online preaching. I was traveling already earlier, but then I became very conscious of this preaching. So every day morning I trained people from all over the world. They were new to ISKCON. I trained them for chanting. They joined me, from Mauritius, from London, from Canada, from America. They all joined me from India. And they joined me and then I taught them how to chant. And they were all new to ISKCON. They didn't know ISKCON, what ISKCON was. So when they got to know of it, they started chanting. And then when they were chanting, so I asked them, would you come for the Mangalarti chantings? Do you want to join me for early morning chantings? They said yes, readily yes. And since that day, it's been now more than 1250 days that I have been chanting with them 8 rounds early in the morning at 5 o'clock. 4:30 I tell them all to attend Mangalarti online, whether from Vrindavan or Mayapur, that they attend that Mangalarti and then join me at 5 a.m. for chanting session and full morning session till 6:30 to 7 o'clock. We do full morning session on the YouTube channel and on Zoom. Simultaneously, I'm live there. So it happens that people got so much of relief and many of them, they got initiated. For 2 years of such serious study with me of the scriptures and chanting, Guru Maharaj met them personally and he initiated them. So he said that there was a boy who met Guru Maharaj first time. He was from Mauritius. He came to Vrindavan for the first time. He met Guru Maharaj for the first time and he was initiated because he was so, and their tests were taken. It was not that just I said to Guru Maharaj that they are fit for initiations. Guru Maharaj gave it, no. Their strict tests were taken, filter tests were taken. They passed out their tests. And Guru Maharaj was personally asking all the devotees who were taking, the senior devotees who took their tests, that how are they faring? How is Radhika Kripa's group faring? He said out of all the others, there were 1,000 candidates, he said. Out of them, her group is doing the best because they have been trained in such a way that they are following everything so perfectly. So you see, that is the training given when you are surrendered. You really surrender to the spiritual master. I'm sorry if I answered your questions was that and we went where? We went to Mangalarti. So this is how it is, that how life should be. If one is surrendered, everything will fall in place. We have to just do surrender, that's all, nothing else. Only surrender to what the spiritual master says, what Srila Prabhupada, because spiritual master is not saying anything that Srila Prabhupada has not given. He's just repeating the words of Prabhupada. So if we follow them and we just repeat those words again to others, our job is done. And that is surrender. That's all. You don't have to add anything, you don't have to subtract anything. Only you have to give, that's all. And that is surrender. That is advancement will come. Haribol. So I think so there is no chance for another question now. You have time? Oh, okay. So any other question anybody has? Yes?
Thank you, Mataji, for encouraging us for the Mangalarti. But just practically, Mataji, considering like in Grahastha, most of us are Grahastha here, both working full time and looking after the children, looking after the physical health, and then 16 rounds and devotional service in all these. How do we, can you give us some practical tips? Like still, I mean, I know one of the two Matajis here, they are has been, since last 2 years, they have been doing it. In all these, I mean, they're also Grahastha. So just really want to know, so that we can really start applying this what you're saying, Mataji, and increase in our devotional service. And one of them is getting up for Mangala.
Yeah.
It's sort of a difficult task actually. So can you give us some really guidance?
You see, nothing is impossible in this world.
Yeah.
When I joined ISKCON, I was a businesswoman. But that's my choice that I did not continue because I did not feel like. Otherwise, many are still doing what, when they join with me, they are still running their own everything. They are doing the same way. But then it was not difficult that time. I had two small children. I was just 36 when I joined in. And I had two children, young children. In school they were, 11-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. I used to go for Mangalarti, come back, dress them up, drop them to the, to the bus stops, and then receive them also in the afternoon and send off my husband also for work. He had his business. So, and run my own business as well. I was doing that. So, it is not difficult if we want to do it. In our groups there are people, those who are, there's an, from Mauritius, as I was telling about this boy, he joins us. Mauritius is 1.5 hours behind India. So he joins, he has to get up at 3:30 to be with us at 5. It says 3:30, ours is 5. He joins us up at 3:30 and then he does his rounds, first with us, the morning program with us, and then he finishes his rounds. Another 8 rounds are left, so he finishes them. Then he dresses up and goes for work. By 8 o'clock he leaves home. And in the evening he is back. So you see, he is doing his job as well and taking care of his spiritual health as well. So, and I have stayed in his home in Mauritius. It's not that. I was recently in Mauritius, and last year also I went to Mauritius. He invited me for lectures there. I was there. I stayed in his home. I saw his whole routine, what he does, and he's doing it nicely. And then we have other also, like in India as well. There are many who follow Mangalarti. They are working. They are women. They have children as well. They join in, but like they organize themselves. They organize themselves like in the afternoons, if they can afford to, or in the evening, just a power nap like of 15 minutes, that's enough for them. But that's enough for everybody. I don't sleep in the afternoons. I never take rest. So it is that if one desires, everything is feasible. It's only your desire. Krishna will plan out everything. Because when I joined in, Guru Maharaj never told me that. He never said, oh, you are working, you have your business, you have children, so don't come for Mangalarti. He said, no, Mangalarti has no option. You should do the Mangalarti. Because Mangalarti is going to keep us spiritually high. That's the only thing. And if you are actually going early in the morning, your rounds, everything will fall in place. You will have time for your sadhana, you will have time to listen to Bhagavatam. While cooking in the kitchen, you can listen to Bhagavatam. While traveling, commuting, you can listen to Bhagavatam. So you will have, everything falls in place. If spiritual health is fine, physical health will remain fine. You can't guarantee your physical health all the time. It may, it's like human body. It's a body that you can't guarantee what's going to happen to it. But still, if we are mentally fit, spiritually fit, everything will be fine. But we just have to take the action. If we give up so easily, then Krishna says, oh, you, without any endeavor, you have given up. So Krishna doesn't like that. That's why Mangalarti has been, in the Gurbani, it's even said, the Brahma Murta, as I said right now, it's got a lot of value. If we chant in the Brahma Murta, there's nothing better than that. That is the only time when we get the right connection at the right place. We want to get the connection right. So it's the right time. We may actually chant the whole day. You see, if you chant early in the morning, that's the best. Otherwise, the whole day till midnight, your chanting is not over. You are just struggling with your rounds. So rounds is one thing we should not struggle for. That is the dedication. That is the bhakti. How can we take it so easily, lightly? We should not take it so light. So we should do everything so that Mangalarti is intact. Our chanting is intact. But if we give in so easily, then Krishna knows that we, without any endeavor, we have given up. We should not give up. So Mangalarti is a must. Chanting in the morning is a must. That is actually the food for soul. So food does not get the soul doesn't get the food, then it's not good. And soul is actually the connection with, that's Krishna says, Mame Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, you are my part and parcel. So we are part and parcel of, our soul is part and parcel of him. So soul has to work for him. And the soul, if does not accept chanting, because it's a food for soul. If soul doesn't get its food, how will it get nourished and how will it remain it serve Krishna? How will it serve Krishna? And that's very important. So if we, like as I said, my mother, she was practicing Sikh, but she used to get up whole my life. I saw her getting at 3:34. She was up. And then that made an impact on me, yes. My Guru Maharaj, what he's saying, that's what my mother really, she understood what the Granth Sahib was saying. And she had a beautiful death, This is, I wrote this book, Death the Unstoppable. It was this March, this year, this book came out. So in March, Guru Maharaj went away in May, 5th May he left this world. So in March I was talking to Guru Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, I want a foreword from you, because every book has a foreword from Guru Maharaj. So I said, I'm writing another book I have to give to you on your Vyasa Puja. And he said, what is the title of your book, Radhika Krpa? I said, Guru Maharaj, the title is Death the Unstoppable. And he looked at me and he said, maybe he knew it, he won't be there. And he looked at me and said, it's a very nice title, Radhika Krpa. Beautiful title. And it was, unfortunately, he was not there on the Vyasa Puja. So the book was written, it was printed. Then I went on the stage and asked Radhanath Maharaj to take it to Guru Maharaj, to offer it to him. So this book was offered to Guru Maharaj. And this book has quotes from the Gita, the Granth Sahib and the Bhagavatam. And it's got pages from my own life, where my own relatives who left this world, but after I became a devotee, those relatives, when my father left, I became a devotee at that time. Then my uncle left. He was a turban Sikh, a very, I would say, a nice practicing Sikh. And he left his body. How he left, how he came in touch with Guru Maharaj. He was 85 when he had darshan of Guru Maharaj. He wanted to see Guru Maharaj. He called me up and he said, I want to meet your spiritual master. He was 85 of age at that time. And he came to see. I have given the full story here in this book. Then how my father-in-law left his body. how my mother left her body in 2019, 1st of January, that was an Ekadashi day. So the whole story is there, how she left her body. It's again a beautiful story. So these are all like the truths of life, you know. So, and I've seen it before my eyes, how they went away. So that is why the death is unstoppable. But how we should die, that the art we have to learn. So that is how the first poem I wrote was, in 2001. From Vyasa Puja every year, when I attended first Vyasa Puja of my Guru Maharaj, I was not initiated at that time. And in fact, I was invited to come to attend the Vyasa Puja, and I hardly knew the meaning of Vyasa Puja at that time, because I just knew they were celebrating Guru Maharaj's birthday. So I went there and I had written a poem. First English poem which I wrote was on Guru. And I wrote that poem and took it. I got it framed and I gifted to Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj said, I have a picture in this memoir book where I'm gifting him. And he said, no, you read it give her the mic, she will read it. He had without looking into it, even what I've written, he wanted me to read to the whole world. And I said, what faith he has in me. And I was as I said, I had a stage fright throughout my school and in the university also, I was never on the stage. But then he told me, he said, give her the mic, she will read the poem. And there was a crowd in thousands there. And very confidently, I read the poem. And everybody appreciated so much, they loved it. And after that, I got initiated in 2001. We were going to Mayapur Parikram. So we were on the way, and in the train, I wrote, with the devotees we were going, and I just got inspired to write a poem on death. I wrote a poem on death. And there when we reached Mayapur, it was 2001, and as we entered the temple, the news came up that Tamal Krishna Maharaj had met with an accident and left his body. And his body was brought to the temple. I didn't know who he is, frankly. But his body was brought, we touched his feet, we did his parikrama, his body was laid down before Radha Madhava. So we went up on the stage, that altar, this one step down to the altar. So we had the opportunity to be blessed by him. And then I felt very scared to show my poem to Guru Maharaj, because it was death and I was seeing death like it had come. So I awaited it for a few days, and one day we were in the parikram, and Guru Maharaj happened so that he sat in the same boat in which we were. So while doing the parikram, he sat in the same boat, and then I simply passed on that paper to him through his secretary, Sri Balram. So Sri Balram showed that poem to Guru Maharaj, and then Guru Maharaj looked into the poem, he turned the page and he wrote 100 out of 100. He said, one day published, very good. He wrote that, very good, 100 out of 100, one day published all your devotional poems. And then when I wrote this book, then I put that note here as well, and it was remembrance for me. And again this thing happened when I was writing this book, and I had to offer to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj had left. So you see, death is so uncertain, and it's unstoppable. So our life is very momentary. The Gurbani says it's a one breath. The breath that goes in might not come out. So it's just one breath life we have. That's what Prabhupada says. Somebody asked him that how many years of chanting will make us purified? How many years? How many years we should chant? Prabhupada says, when we will be purified? Prabhupada said, one pure round. That's it. Once you chant with purified mind, that's done. So that breath, if you chant fully with consciousness in Krishna, then you're purified. You will be gone back to Godhead. So that is, our life is just one breath. But that breath, when it will happen, nobody knows it. So we have to endeavor for it. We have to prepare for it. So the preparation is the Mangala Arati is the best way to prepare for oneself. There is no other way. That is the way. That's the time when we get connected to the Supreme Lord. That's the beautiful hours, you see. So you will remain refreshed. Don't forget, you will be, if you do Mangalarati, everything, you will not feel tired. Those who attend Mangalarati, they don't feel tired, I tell you, sincerely. It's everybody, those who have experienced it know it. It's been 25 years I have been doing it. I never thought of it even that I would be like following it. But then Guru Maharaj's blessings, they made it. And Prabhu was surprised. I landed here in Sydney. He picked me up. We reached Canberra like 1:30 in the midnight. And then I wanted to take shower and all. I slept and took a head bath. And then I slept by 4 o'clock. And then I had my session. Indian timing was 5 a.m. And here it was 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10. So I was up and I started my session with them. So there was nothing like a jet lag or anything. And I had been traveling almost 24 hours. I left Delhi, and you see, on Thursday night and reached here Friday night. So it's okay. If you are actually, you really want to serve, Krishna makes all the plans. Nothing, you don't have to do anything. He makes all the plans. We just have to surrender. That's why I said, we just have to surrender to the words of the Guru. Everything rest is, they are doing it. I've experienced that in my life, writing the book, this book and the other books that came up. That's only because of His mercy, nothing else. It's not me. You will be surprised, I just don't want to self-glorify myself. But it is that when I started the online preaching, I was telling Guru Maharaj that so many people are getting connected to me online all over the world. So he said, Radhika Krpa, then the marathon from the Bhagavatam marathon, that is the Bhadra Purnima marathon. I don't know you do it here or not. But the Bhadra Purnima marathon 2020 was started. And he told me, Guru Maharaj said, your target is Radhika Krpa 1000 Bhagavatam sets in this Bhadra Purnima. And I said, Guru Maharaj, that's a lifetime target you have given to me. It will take whole life, 1000 Bhagavatam sets. And he just smiled away. And it happened that I distributed that year 425 Bhagavatam sets. And the Bhagavad Gita marathon came the same year. After 2 months, we did 6,000 Bhagavad Gitas online. Next year came and everybody was glorifying. Everybody saying, oh, Radhika Krpa has done so many Bhagavatam sets. But Guru Maharaj was not moved. He said, her target is very high still. She has 1,000 Bhagavatam sets. And that year we did 525 Bhagavatam sets, 2021. And then Bhagavad Gitas rose to like 14,000. And 2022 came. And then we are still endeavoring to do 1,000, Guru Maharaj was not satisfied with what we were doing. And then we did 626 Bhagavatam sets with 18,000 Bhagavad Gitas. Then 2023 came. We dropped to 565 Bhagavatam sets and 20,500 Bhagavad Gitas. And this year, Bhagavad Gita marathon is yet to start. Bhadra Purnima marathon is over. We have done 800 Bhagavatam sets. And you see, it's the power of Guru Maharaj. So he wanted 1,000 we have to do. And everybody is now endeavoring for the next year to cross 1,000. Our target is 1,008 Bhagavatam sets to please our Guru Maharaj. So this is for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, pleasure of Guru Maharaj. So one should actually just endeavor to do so, and everything is in there, in his hands, in Krishna's hand and his hand. I'm not doing anything. It's all he is making me do. That's all. I'm just a medium. So likewise I say, if you are strict in your sadhana, the sadhana is only the way that is going to make you more advanced and take you back to Godhead. A strict sadhana is very important. We should not be we are not strict human beings, we are not fanatics, but we are strict in our sadhana, that I have to follow the instructions. You see, once a person I was doing government parikrama with Guru Maharaj, and there was a devotee, he was doing Dandavati parikrama. And usually we all get very impressed. People say, no, he's doing Dandavati. You know what Dandavati is, no? Dandavati parikrama? When we lie down and then you put a mark and then again you lie down, and that Dandavati parikrama. It takes nearly more than a month to complete the whole Govardhan parikrama. And we get so attracted to such people, oh, he's doing Dandavati, he's such a great devotee. And when Guru Maharaj, everybody was telling Guru Maharaj, he was Guru Maharaj's disciple. Everybody said, this Prabhu is doing Dandavati, he's doing Dandavati. And when Guru Maharaj came near him, and everybody was glorifying him, and Guru Maharaj said one thing, but when you're given some instructions to follow, you don't follow, what is the use of this Dandavati? That's all. He said this. He said, when the instructions are given to you for some service to do, you are nowhere, you don't do the services, then what's the use of this Dandavati? So this is how it is. If you don't follow the instructions and you really want to follow your own mind and even do, that's what Prabhu's words were, that you want to do sadhana on your own style. So what's the use of that sadhana if you didn't follow the instructions of the spiritual master? So that is how I have learned from him. And it's there in the same thing comes up in the Gurbani, same thing is everywhere. So we should not feel that, we are doing something like I'm doing it by forcefully or something. It should be with love. That's what Krishna says. That those who give with love, they follow the bhakti path. I give them the intelligence to come to me. So probably that is there. If must have shown some little bit of love, so that's why he gave me the intelligence to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That also is coming from Krishna. So we should not be bothered with what other devotees say or what this or that says. We are only concerned what our spiritual master has given the instructions. That's all. What Prabhupada has given the instructions, we follow that. We are not worried what others are saying. So others, they have their own karmas, their own reactions, they will be actually giving account for that. We have our own actions. So we are responsible for our own. So we should be worried about ourselves, not others. Others, we just give holy name to them. We spread the holy name. But we are not concerned if they are at fault or something. Our job is just giving them the holy name. They will rectify, they will identify their own problems, they will identify their own faults, and they will actually rectify them. Because Krishna is going to help them. Our prayers are only to Krishna, through the Guru. That's it. He's the medium. I hope I can go on for hours and hours. You will keep on asking. We should. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Haribol.
What would be the time for Brahmurta, like 4:30 or 5, right, Mangala? It's always confusing. Should we do 4:30 or 5?
It's that for Grastas, like what the spiritual master says, at home, if you are at home, you can do the Mangalati at 5 even. But ideally in the temple it's between 4:15. 4:15 it starts. So sometimes they say Brahmurta is 3:15 also. But whatever Prabhupada has given us the time, we follow because he is taking our responsibility. So he has given us this time, so it's okay. If we do at 4:15, 4:30, it's fine. You attend the Mangala Aarti. Or by 5, latest by 5, Grastas should do it. So you should start your chanting by 5:15 or so. That's it. So, yes, Prabhu.
In the Guru Granth Sahib, it is mentioned everywhere about Gopal, Krishna, Ram, Keshav, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji also went to Jagannath Puri, met
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very briefly, Rameshwaram and other places. So how can we infuse that Lord Ram, Lord Krishna's name is there in Guru Granth Sahib? I've seen many pious Sikh people who are also part of ISKCON, fully dedicated chanting system now. How can we infuse that it's given Ram, Krishna, Keshav?
Yeah, that's, if you read the book, my book, so you have the pages where it's mentioned there, though the full Granth Sahib is full of that. But still, I have put some pages here where you can read it. It says clearly that he is if somebody says is not that Ram, but it says Ram, it says as Ram Japoji aise aise, Dhruv Prahlad Japeo Har jaise. So chant the name of Ram just like Dhruv and Prahlad chanted Hari. So if Hari is the same, the Ram is the same, of course. So it's Achyut, in the Madhu Mahalla Panchama it says, the different names of Krishna, that's it. Achyut Pardam Parmeshwar Antaryami Madhusudan Damodar Swami Rishikesh Govardhan Dhari Murli Manohar Hari Ranga Mohan Madhav Krishna Murare Jagdishwar Harjiu Asura Sanghare Jagjeevan Avinasi Thakur Gatgatavasi Hai Sangha तरनी तर ईस नरसिंहा नारायण तर अग्रे पथिम तरायण बावन रूप किया तुद करते सभी सेती है चंगा श्री रामचंद्र जी रूप न रेख्या बनवारी चक्रपानी दरस अनुपिया गोपीनाथ सगल है साथे वासुदेव निरंजन दाते मुकुंद मनोहर लक्ष्मी नारायण द्रौपदी लज्जा निवारण उदाहरण कमला कांत करे कौतूहल आनंद विनोदी न संगा अमोघ दर्शन Ajoni Sambho Akal Murat just Kade Nahiko. So you see, you heard all those names. Yes. And then the Vaheguru, it means, who knows what does Vaheguru means? Are there Punjabis here? Any Punjabi? You're Punjabi, I can see. He's nodding with all the, I could understand he's Punjabi. He could understand, he was nodding. Yes. Vaheguru, the meaning of Vaheguru. You know it, Prabhu?
No,
No?
no idea.
Because Vaheguru is made up of 4 letters. VHGR. Rest are consonants, matraएं. Vahagara in Hindi we say. The four letters, it's just VHGR. There are 4 yugas. Yugas are also 4. Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kali Yug. So it's not written in the Granth Sahib, it's written in a book called Vara. Vara is written by the author of Granth Sahib. Granth Sahib was sung by the 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. He sang the Granth Sahib and it was being penned down like when the Bhagavatam was being sung and Ganesh Ji was penning it down. Likewise, it was penned down by Bhai Gurdas Ji. He was a scholar himself, a devotee, a disciple of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji asked him that you are a scholar, why don't you write your own, what you compose, I'll put it here. And he said, I cannot compete with my Guru, where my Guru's Vani is being there, I cannot have my Vani, I am your servant. So he wrote another book, that is called the Key to Granth Sahib. To understand the Granth Sahib, you go to that, the Guide to Granth Sahib. So in that guide he writes the meaning of Vaheguru, why this Japa mantra was made. He says, Satyug Satgur Vasudev Vavva Vishnu Naam Japave. In Satyuga, everybody was meditating on Vishnu. They were meditating for thousands of years on Vishnu to go back to Godhead. In all yugas, everybody wants to go back to Godhead only. One aim is back to Godhead. So how do you go back to Godhead? In Satyug, the Vavva Vishnu Naam, the name of Vishnu was to take you back. Treta Yuga, Ram ji Rava Ram jape sukh paave. Treta is R, that is Ram. R stands for Ram. Because in Treta, if you want to go back, you have to actually chant the name of Ram. Dwapar, who came? Hari Krishna. Hari came. And Hari came, Krishna came in the form of Hari, and he made everybody chant. He made everybody chant his name, Hari. And those who chanted Hari, they went back. Then came the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Guru Nanak came as a Guru. Guru Nanak came. He gave everybody the name of Gagga Govinda Naam Alave. He told everybody, sing the glories of Govinda. He said, Sab Govind hai, Govind bin nahi koi. So, charo akhar ik kar ik jap mantra banaye Vaheguru. So, all the 4 letters were joined together to make one mantra, that is Vaheguru. Va Vishnu ha Hari ga Govind ra Ram. Charo akhar ik kar ik jap mantra banaye. And where it is written in the Granth Sahib, it says, Kamal nayan madhur bayan kot sang sain sho, ma yashod jise kahet hai dahi bhat khaye jiyo. Ad sat shri nivas adi puruk sada, tu hi Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru jiyo. You are Vaheguru because that is Kamal nayan madhur bayan kot sang sain sho. And there is more to it. Priya sahit vihar kiyo. Again, Radharani was not mentioned directly. Priya sahit vihar kiyo. Gal mal mor mukut chhaye jiyo. Priya Sahit Vihar Kiyo. And he is the Vaheguru. So this is there in the Granth Sahib. So that is how it is. Only the open-minded Sikhs would listen to us. So one should be take precautions while telling others. We should be very, very careful. If he is not open-minded, we should not tell them because they will not accept it, though it's there in the Granth Sahib. So if they don't accept it, actually they are committing offense to the spiritual master. So it's the Vaishnava Aparadh, we will be doing it if we actually try to instigate them. Because that's why criticism was in the Vaishnava, that's in the Granth Sahib even. One should not criticize others. And one should actually, Ashradhalu, those who don't have Shraddha, don't go and teach them. Just give them the Harinam, that's it. If they're chanting Vaheguru, let them chant Vaheguru. Guru Maharaj met my family, they were all turban Sikhs, and Guru Maharaj would always tell them, chant Vaheguru. You're chanting Vaheguru, keep on chanting Vaheguru. Whatever you're chanting, chant it. So, but if you read in the Dead the Unstoppable, the story of my uncle, you would be surprised. That is, again, you would really come to know that what happened at the age of 85 when he met my Guru Maharaj. So there is in the Granth Sahib, everything is there, it's all similar, everything. In the sometimes they ask me why in the Granth Sahib they don't say the Murti Puja. That is the thing, no deity worship. But in the Gita himself, Krishna says, I am available in both the forms, impersonal and personal. In personal, you can have better attachment with me. You can know, you can serve me. And there is the impersonal form as well. So, but there is this information that till 1906, Hari Mandir Sahib had deities of Radha Krishna. They were deities of Radha Krishna in the Golden Temple, and they were removed. So there is a lot of things. If we go back into the history, there is a lot of things, but we cannot go out openly these days with them. We have to take care. So we want to actually first make us strong. Our faith should be strong. That's all. Rest, the books will speak. Rest, the scripture will speak for itself. So there are many things to tell, but if you read this book, Vaishnavism and Sikhism, there is Guru Gobind Singh Ji wrote the 10th Dasam Granth, he wrote. And he says, I'm going to write now the 10th canto of Bhagavatam in this. And he wrote the 24 Avatar, the 24 incarnations of Krishna in this, in Dasam Granth. And he wrote about the pastime of Radha and Krishna in the Kunja. That how Radha Krishna met and how they would actually how the dutis, how the manjaris would arrange their meetings and how this would happen. So it is given in the Dasam Granth. He talks about it. And then he talks about the lineage, which we want to know. That what is the lineage? I've mentioned that in this book. So we will end the session now. We can go till midnight if I keep on speaking. Very well. So thank you everybody for joining in. There are some more sessions coming up, so if you like it, do join us there. And these books are here. If you're interested, you can approach me. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Radhika Krpa, Mataji.
Hari Bol and jai.
One thing before, actually Srinivas Prabhu is leaving Canberra for the city. So Prabhu requested that, he has made some gift books for each of the family here. So he wanted to distribute maybe Mataji.
Actually, he got initiated recently
I know.
They will just first.
Okay.
So it's a great fortune that his Srinivas Prabhu was, but now by the mercy of all the Vaishnavas here, including our ISKCON Canberra Temple management, Vishnu Charan Prabhu, Madhava Seva Das,